الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده أما بعد. So where we left last week, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been mentioning some of the crimes that the forefathers of Jewish people committed against the Prophet and then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what was the attitude of the people, which was carrying on from their forefathers? Obviously, they have done whatever they have done to their previous prophets, and they were very good people who were following the prophets of the time, and they were practicing Muslims. They're Jewish people who Muslim as in submitted to the commands of Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But there were certain people who wouldn't. And time and again, they would go against the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, against the teaching of the prophets of the time. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he came, as you know, the people settled, they were settled in and around Medina, and they wanted to benefit from the final prophet, who they knew about due to the signs, many signs mentioned in Old Testament in Torah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after describing a lot of their forefathers' action to them, those people in Medina, and now returning to them, saying that this is now you are doing. They said one of the issue that they raise is, the reason we cannot accept you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and your message is because Jibreel comes to you and he brings down revelation, and we are not happy with Jibreel. We are enemy of Jibreel. The reason is that he is the angel who would come with fist hand, iron fist, heavy hand, torturing, killing, destroying nations, because he would come to punish the people if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala were to tell him. And he is the obviously leader of all the angels. Muta', he is the one to be obeyed by all the creation. Summa Ameen, Allah said that he is the most trustworthy of all the angels. So he is the leader. So he would bring revelation, but also if there was any trouble, he's the one in charge of that. Since they've seen all the calamities, atrocities, and killing done in that respect to them or previous nations, they say based on the previous scriptures and stuff that they read, they said, we're not happy with it. This particular angel, Archangel Jibreel. And then in this particular passage that we're going to cover today, there are two specific things happening. One is about this, and other, they charge there was another crime they committed, which was against Sayyidina Sulaiman al-Islam. So we cover that. So Imam Bukhari rahmatullah alayhi, he wrote in his Sahih this narration in the book of Tafsir, Kitab al-Tafsir. Sayyidina Anas radiallahu anhu, he mentioned that Abdullah ibn Salam, he was from the tribe of Jews people. He was a Jewish man and their leader, a very nice man among them. Then he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he heard the news that he brought the final revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was in a farm collecting some fruits. He came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said that I want to ask 3 questions. Only prophets would know the answers to. So if you respond to that, I will take you and I become Muslim. I will accept your path. So what is the first, what he wanted to know is, what is the first sign, the portent of hour, what would be the first indication to the end of time? Second, what would be the first meal to the people of paradise? What is the first food they would have together? As Allah said, Nuzulam min Rasul Rahim, when they enter the paradise, Jannah, they will be offered the initial, in the starter, before they have their proper meal. Because what would be the first thing that they would get? And thirdly, why the baby is sometimes resembling their father, sometimes their mother. What is the reason for that? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Jibreel just came to me and he told me all about it. Said, Jibreel? I said, yes, Jibreel. He's among the angels now, but he's the one who's enemies of Jews. Now he's a leader, said Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever is the and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this ayah, whoever is قُلْ مَنْ كَانَ عَدُوًّا لِجِبْرِيلَ فَإِنَّهُ نَزَّلَهُ بِقَلْبِهِ. So that's the ayah which was revealed based on this. And there's similar incident with many people. They were quite upset about Jibreel bringing in the revelation. Anyway, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave the answer to all three of them. As for the first sign, it will be the fire that will collect the people from the east and west, gather them all together. Okay. As for the first meal, it would be the extra lobe of the fish, liver of the fish. It's called caudate lobe. If you look at the liver, there's a middle part of that that's considered to be the best part of the liver. That's what would be obviously from Jannah. You might not like liver here, it doesn't matter, you would like it. And even if you don't like it, it's coming from Jannah. Obviously, the first thing, a fish liver, who knows? But obviously, it's from Jannah. Must be delicious, obviously. And then with regards to the children, obviously we know. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam described by saying that if the meeting of those the sperms of men and women, whichever takes the priority, the one reaching the other as opposed to other meeting the path. So if the egg is there and sperm reaches it, there will be predominantly boy or the other way around. Now what it means, this is a way of telling, but medically you can understand that it's actually the boy you can only have if male chromosome goes in, be part of that zygote. So what is male chromosome? Do you know? Y. X is female chromosome. So everyone has two chromosomes. Yeah, the DNA chromosome. Women, all girls are X and X, and men is X and Y. Okay, so any combination where there is two X's, it will become a female. X and Y, it will be a boy. So men only can give X or Y. Female can only give X because we X either way. Now you make any combination, if you understand those two concepts, two at the top, how many can you make? Four combination? Yeah, 2 times 2, 2, 4 combination. This, 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 this. Can you understand that? So there could be 4 combination only. Yeah. In all of those 4 combinations, there be Y at 2 places, so whatever. So who would dictate the gender or sex of the baby? Men. Only men can do it. Not that he does it. I'm just saying that with regards to the chromosome. Men chromosome Y dictates whether the baby will be boy or a girl. If the men participates and if the men contributes, X will be boy, contributes X girl, Y boy, X girl. Is that clear? I'm confusing yourself. Let's say again, X and Y. So if the men contributes to this zygote with 2 chromosomes, Y it will be a boy, X girl. Women can only contribute X anyway. So there's no role for her as such. What it means that, so when Rasulullah describes so beautiful actually. Okay, he said, if the X chromosome, which is the female chromosome, takes the priority, it will be a girl. If it's Y, then it will be a man, a boy. So that's absolutely right. Quran mentioned this as well. There's a hint in Quran. أَفَرَأَيْتُمْ مَا تُمْنُونَ أَأَنْتُمْ تَخْلُقُونَهُ. No, not that one. The Surah Najm one. أَفَرَأَيْتُمْ مَا تُمْنُونَ has got the hint to it, but the أَلَكُمُ الذَّكَرُ وَالْأُنثَى. أَلَكُمُ الذَّكَرُ تِلْكَ الْقِسْمَةُ. Further down. Let me. Would I need to read all of that from? وأنه خلق الزوجين الذكر والأنثى من نطفة إذا تمنى. من نطفة إذا تمنى. Allah said, and Allah created men and women from the parents when the nutfa is being put in, when the nutfa is being ejaculated in. The nutfa, which is ejaculated actually, the money, the man is that comes from the money of men is the Arabic money, not English. That is what the action itself is called tumna, the action of ejecting or ejaculating the money. So when it is ejaculated, then you get the boy. And so that's what dictates, Allah says, that what dictates from the injected or ejected or ejaculated money, Allah creates boy or girl. And in Surah Waqia, Allah says, "Fara'aytum ma tumnun." Don't you see when you ejaculate? "Fara'aytum ma tumnun." Antum takhluqun. Do you after that create as well? You just do the action and we create afterwards. So the bottom line is there is a very clear hint in Quran and in Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that X and Y chromosome definitely makes boy or girl. But anyway, so that's side one. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam elaborated on that. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Salam, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he accepted Islam. He said, La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. Now the Jewish people came, some other people. And Abdullah ibn Salam said, I am hiding behind. Don't tell them about me that I'm here. Just ask them about me. So they did. What is Abdullah's status amongst you? These people, all these Jewish people, they said, he's best among us. He's our chief and son of our chief. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, what would you think if he accepts Islam? And not at all, impossible, he's not going to do that. He will never accept Islam. He's our leader, he's our imam, he's our rabbi at hotel. Abdullah ibn Salam came out and said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. They got so upset. He said, Subhanallah, they got so upset and he said, Abdullah, you are the worst of us. You are the son of the worst of us. They started going against him now. Prior to that, they were testifying that he was one of the best men ever, our Imam, our leader. And the minute he accepted Islam, they just turned their back against him. Rasulullah said, I knew it. That's why I wanted to do it like this. Anyway, so that's the background. Let's go to this, the first ayah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل من كان عدوا لجبريل. قل من كان عدوا لجبريل. Say, man, whoever كان actually is was, but it could mean, when you make it a specific sentence, sometimes you don't have to translate, you just bring the second form in and it becomes easy. So anyway, whoever is, although it was, aduwan is the khabar of kana, that's why it's mansub. Aduwan li Jibreel, for Jibreel. Whoever is enemy to Jibreel, whoever is the enemy of Jibreel. فإنه نزله على قلبك بإذن الله. فإنه نزله على قلبك بإذن الله. بإذن الله. So فإنه, indeed he, means Jibreel, نزل means to reveal. He revealed means he sent down this revelation. Who? Book, this book. He revealed this book, Quran, upon qalbi, heart, you. It's Jibreel who revealed this Quran on your heart. Be with the Iznillah, permission of Allah. Allah's permission. You are enemy of Jibreel. Jibreel is the one who is bringing the Quran to you. Says Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this case. فإنه نزله هو أي Quran. And then مصدقا لما بين يديه. وهدى وبشرى للمؤمنين مصدقا, it came before as well, similar, confirming, doing the tasdeeq of li, for ma, whatever is bayna, between. Bayna means between. Yaday, two hands, he is between two hands of his, means in front of you. In Arabic, they use this a lot. So in the Quran, aydihim, and aydihim would come a lot. Ma aydihim, bima aydihim. So aid, yadun. Yadun is yadun. So yaday, bayna yaday, yadani, yadayni, tabbat yadani, abilaha. That will get dropped because of idafa. Yada Abi Lahab. So Yaday Abi Lahab. Yaday, he is two hands. So two hands, baina, two hands, between two hands of his. Okay? Mean, what is between your two hands? Whatever is between your two hands means that it is in front of you. So the phrase means in front of you. So Baina Yaday, literally, it means between your two hands, between his two hands. But it means between, in front of you. Something which is in front of you, as opposed to something behind. So, musaddiqan. So this is confirming what is in front of you, means what is with you. Bayna yadayhi, what is between your two hands. And literally it means what is in your two hands is Torah. You've got the book in your hand, your book, what is in front of you. So it's confirming what is in front of you. وَهُدًى, yes, there's a missing there. وَهُدًى and hudan. Huda is guidance. وَبُشْرَى and bushra. Bushra is glad tidings. Khushkhabri, glad tidings. لِلْمُؤْمِنِ, li for mu'mineen, for the believers. So glad tidings for the believers, those who would believe in it. Whatever we are saying about Jibreel, he would bring revelation to you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is confirming what you already got. Your book, Tawrat. And this Quran is guidance as well. It is confirming your book, it is guidance, it is a glad tidings for who? Those who believe this is a glad tidings, and generally you could mean whoever believes has a glad tidings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, confirmation that they would enter Jannah. Then Allah says, مَا كَانَ عَدُوًّا لِلَّهِ وملائكته ورسله وجبريل وميكال. من كان, من whoever, كان whoever was, or whoever is, عدوا, whoever is enemy, عدوا, foe. I just made it foe because it fits in the small box there. That becomes a bit of a tricky situation to find space. So anyway, so whoever was enemy, lillah, for Allah, to Allah, whoever is the enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and malaikati, he and his angels, wa rusulihi, malaika is plural of malak, angels, and rusul, plural of rasul. So, and rasul means rusul, plural, prophets, messengers, his, he, wa, and Jibreel, and Jibreel specifically. Malaika include Jibreel and Mikael. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specify them afterwards, because the context is that they were saying things about Jibreel and Mikael. Jibreel and whoever is enemy of Mikael. What it means, when you say that you, and they used to say, there's some reports where they would say, we are happy with Mikael because he brings rain and food. We're happy, this is our friend. Jibreel brings punishment and revelation. And in revelation, there's a lot of punishment for them committing all the atrocities and crimes. They don't like him. They don't want to see the truth. Jibreel has got a mirror to show you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoever is enemy of Allah, his messengers, his angels, specifically Jibreel and Mikael, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ عَدُوٌّ لِلْكَافِرِينَ. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ So indeed, Allah is enemy for disbelievers, enemy to these disbelievers. Whoever disbelieves in that, Allah is rather their enemy. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your enemy, then there's no way you can get yourself sorted out. And because these are all awliya, all the prophets are wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the angels are prophets of Allah, wali and friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about waging the war, and we discussed that when we read the ayat of riba. Did we read it yet? Or it's coming maybe? But there was some other class. So the riba, and likewise here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about riba, about interest, whoever doesn't stop dealing with it in riba, let him be ready for the war against Allah and His Messenger. And in the hadith of Sahih Bukhari, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever shows enmity to my wali, my awliya, my friends, I am at war with him. Those are the two places where the war with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been mentioned. One in Quran about riba, one in Hadith about being enemy or having ill feeling towards the wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, everyone on the face of earth who is a believer is wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wali means to be close. Waliya means to be close. The more close you are, the more wali you will be. So waliya yaliyu. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whoever believes in him is closer to non-believers. So from among the believers, those who do good deeds, follow Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the max or to whatever capacity, slowly and slowly, they continue to go up the ladder and be even closer and closer and closer. So obviously, the Anbiya are the best, the closest one, angels obviously, and then likewise, all the people afterwards in the Ummah. So Sahaba, and then, the scholars of the past and the present, and, pious people, and Shuhada, different categories. So whoever does the good action, he comes close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Having animosity, hatred, ill feeling towards them is a killer. Don't do that. Don't ever go there. Even if you don't like them, stay quiet. Don't have hatred for them. So that, and likewise for no Muslim. Don't have hatred for any Muslim because you do not know what is his status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As I mentioned about the story of Umar radiallahu ta'ala, when he was coming out to kill Rasulullah with the intention of killing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, na'udhu billah. And he wasn't even a Muslim at that point. You would judge him, whatever you would judge him. But does Allah not know who Umar is going to be? Khalid ibn Walid, the second person, who caused Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be harmed in that battle with his bodily, wounds and things, but also 70 Sahaba got martyred in that battle, a battle that was won already. And then through the tactics of Sayyidina Khalid ibn Walid, there was a lesson, but Allah knew who Khalid was. Sayfun min suyufillah, swords from the a sword from the swords of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we can judge at whatever time, but we're bound by that. Allah knows. So you do not know, even a non-Muslim, unless you know for sure that they're dying upon kufr, like Abu Jahl, Fir'aun. Don't have individual in your mind with hatred of that sort. Hate their action, not the individual per se, because you never know. You never know. And we, in our life, heard and read about people, the men who initiated this demolition of Babri Mosque in Ahmedabad. He then became Muslim, and he has put upon him to build 100 masjid, and he has done nearly, I don't know how many, I just heard a couple of years ago, he was to the mark of maybe 60, 70. He said, I would build 100 mosques to compensate for that. Wallahi, wallahu a'lam, this is what I heard and read somewhere. And he's on this, channel that he's committed to himself. It's not further upon him, but he thought, because since he was part of that initiator or whoever, I don't know, wallahu a'lam. But there are many like this who we don't know. The person who drew the cartoons from which country was that? Second, yes, 12 years, 10 years ago. He became Muslim. So there are many people who are doing whatever they're doing. We don't know their status now. Because they're not going to come onto the media and say things. Maybe they do, it's not going to be highlighted as much. Allah knows. So stay very, very careful about that. Allah says, وَلَقَدْ أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ آيَاتٍ بَيِّنَاتٍ. And lam, when lam comes like this, laqad, qad itself has this emphasis. But lam is qasmiya, it is by oath. So it actually means by Allah. Qad, indeed. So there are a lot of emphasis, two emphasis together. Anzalna, and indeed that we revealed, we send down ilayka, towards you. What did we reveal to you? What did we send down to you? Ayatin bayyinat. Very clear-cut proofs, clear-cut signs, verses, indications. وما يكفر بها إلا الفاسقون. And do no one not deny or reject with it of it except the transgressors. Means no one denies the sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except the transgressors. Those who have gone beyond the boundaries. أَوَكُلَّمَا عَاهَدُوا عَهْدًا نَبَذَهُ فَرِيقٌ مِّنْهُمْ. So, was it not that every time, whenever عَاهَدُوا, they promised, عَهَدًا, a covenant, they confirmed a covenant, they had a pact, they had a deal, نَبَذَ فَرِيقٌ مِّنْهُمْ. نَبَذَهُ فَرِيقٌ مِّنْهُمْ. A group of them, a party of them, threw it away. So they made a contract, a covenant, a promise with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you know what? A group of them said, no, just leave it. Did I miss something? بل أكثرهم لا يؤمنون. Rather, most of them, أكثرهم, rather most of them, but most of them do not believe. لا يؤمنون, they do not believe. ولما جاءهم رسول من عند الله مصدق لما معهم. And lamma, whenever jaa, came home to them, whenever came to them a rasul, a prophet, min indillah, from with Allah, from with Allah. This inda means someone close to him. From with Allah means from very, from the very, very difficult to say the translation of that. From his own side, from the side of Allah, you could say from the side of Allah. Yeah, it would be better to translate the side of Allah. Like the word to word translate in the right side, from the side of Allah, from in Allah, from the side of Allah means from Allah's side. Allah. Musaddiqun, doing the confirmation, testifying, li, for ma ma'ahum, whatever is with them, confirming whatever is with them. So what do they do? نَبَذَ فَرِيقٌ مِّنَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ. A group of them from the people of the book who were given a group of people who were given the book, they threw it away. They rejected it. نَبَذَ, through, فَرِيقٌ, a group, min, those who people, الَّذِينَ, from those people, أُوتُوا, who were given the book. Those who were given the book, Torah, a group of them threw it away. Whenever the new prophet came with new ideas, they just rejected. They rejected Isa alayhi salam, they rejected Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. كتاب الله وراء ظهورهم كأنهم لا يعلم. Book of Allah, Kitab Allah, Allah's book is wara'a, is behind their backs. Is backs, backs as a plural form. Zahar means back, zuhur is plural. So they just threw it behind their back, كأنهم لا يعلمون, as though they don't know. Oh, I didn't know it was a book. So they knew this is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, throwing something behind your back is metaphor. Doesn't have to be throwing physically or actually, rather rejecting the import of that, rejecting the meaning of that. Allah commands you something, you say, can't be bothered. Allah say, do this, oh, not interested. Do it like a bit lazy, bit whatever. So rejecting the injunctions therein, not following the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as though you have thrown it behind your back. So any teachings of Quran, any teachings of Sunnah that we can do and we should be able to do, we don't accept or reject, that we are actually throwing the book behind our backs and we shouldn't be doing it. So inshallah we leave that there, and there's the next passage we'll do inshallah the next week. Jazakallahu khaira. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.